Let's begin. This is the rebirth ceremony. Thank you everybody for coming. It's like deeply special, and I really mean that sort of from like a heart place, because like it means a lot that people come. People are like, I'm going to invest this large amount of time. For those of you that have been brave enough to look at the details of this, they're pretty extensive. So thank you for not being scared by that. It is like a journey, and it's a journey that's really meaningful and special to me and my family. So I'll quickly go over what the meaning of rebirth ceremonies are for those of you that may not be as familiar with it. My rebirth ceremony started when I was in high school, and that was a time when I was submerged in a cesspool of like self-hatred, self-loathing, self-disgust, and there were times when I was scorched by waves of depression. And a lot of this came from the feeling that I had no control over my destiny or who I could become or who I wanted to become. And so my sort of, I don't know if it's a solution, but what I decided to do was give birth to these rebirth ceremonies. And the rebirth ceremonies have the following sort of purpose. The first is the rebirth ceremonies focus my mind so that I look deeply and deliberately into my past. And I look at the vast landscape of failures and the few mountain peaks of success, and I think about that. And then I look into the depth of my subconscious. What are my subconscious desires? And I try to awaken those desires, and then I try to have my subconscious and conscious minds communicate with one another so that I can figure out what exactly is it that I want to do in my future. And then after that, I look deeply into my future, and I decide to create small, incremental steps so that I can reach these goals. Now these goals are like spiritual goals, and what I often do is pair these spiritual goals with a physical change. And that physical change is usually I harvest my hair, I shave everything off my body, and I'm reborn. So the last time I shaved my hair was a partial rebirth. It was in April after my grandmother passed away. And so I shaved all of that off. All the hair that you see on my body is the same age. And it's a record of time. This is how much time has passed since my grandmother passed away. And so by doing this, it reminds me that I've made goals and that I want to achieve it. So after my grandmother passed away, the one goal that I had sort of kept for myself was that I wanted to give birth to a full rebirth ceremony, which is what this is right now. So here's an example from my last one from 2020 where I transformed. Now my rebirth ceremonies on average happen every 3 years. And just to give you a sense, each rebirth ceremony ushers in a new age. So in 2011, it was the age of uncertainty. And from there came the age of growth. And from that growth came a flower and the age of blooming. And after the age of blooming, which is the age that I was in formerly, was the age of dissemination, when that flower disseminated its seeds, its ideas into the air. And now my rebirth ceremony is to give essentially rebirth to my grandmother's will, to who she really was. And this is going to be through actions that I will do in the future, and I'll describe that more. My grandmother passed away on April 10th, and I also want to honor my grandmother's sister, with whom my entire family has been very close. So that's my grandmother, my grandmother's sister, and then my cousin sadly passed away too, and so I want to honor her, and of course honor anyone that all of you want to honor. So we'll make some space to be able to do that. So my rebirth ceremonies typically are spread across 2 days. The first day is the communal event. That's where all of you are right now. And my communal events usually have 3 parts to them. The first is the reality portion, where I share some facts. And then the next is the digestion portion, where I take those facts and then we digest and process that through artwork. And then the last is the Somdiland, which is the mythological universe. And what I do is I take those processed thoughts, those digested thoughts, and then I encode them symbolically through things that I do. And typically I do things that are really kind of over the top ridiculous. And I do that because it's funny. I enjoy doing it, but also it makes it memorable. The second part, and then also it's to bring together really, really interesting, cool people such as all of you, have them socialize, meet each other, and really do something that goes beyond small talk, something collaborative, something imaginatory, something meaningful. And then the second day, which will be tomorrow, probably around 10 a.m., everyone's welcome, but it's a very small, short thing, and it's just whoever's around will cut locks of my hair, and then I'll be sort of transformed. So here's an example of my grandmother, you know, attending many of my hair ceremonies and my rebirth ceremonies, cutting off, you know, those hairs. So the main request I have is please relax, enjoy, chill. You know, this isn't a memorial. My grandmother's essence is woven into it, but it's not a memorial. It's more like a music festival. So like it's like you guys come in, and then when your cup is full, you know, you can go into the front yard and talk to someone, go on a walk on Butterfield, maybe go get some coffee, go in the house, go in the basement, just chill, right? Like I kind of want to make this event where I'm free, but I can only be free if I know this is not a captive audience. So like if you walk around or if you do something on your cell phone, those are all legit. You know, just don't talk, but you know, you can do stuff on your cell phone. It's totally cool, and I'll feel honored by that because I don't want you to be captive. And it'll be kind of long, okay? This portion here is gonna be like an hour long. So just relax, just walk. You don't have to stick here. You know, this includes my family and stuff like that. You know, there's a possibility there may be ticks. This is New England, so I just wanted to say that I haven't got a tick. I've been walking around barefoot, but just you know, want to make sure for anyone who's here. So there are 3 parts, as I said. The reality portion today will be a kata, and really what that is storytelling. It's philosophy, and what we're going to do is share some spiritual, philosophical ideas that were important to my grandmother. The themes that we'll talk about, these are the ideas that we'll digest, are life, death, rebirth, impermanence, and seva, which is the idea of devotional giving to society. Then the digestion portion is going to be socializing. It's going to be artwork with a little bit of henna, which we've got 3 people here today who are going to go through it. So I'm really happy that we've got like real artists to help out. And then we've got a list of positive impacts that we'll make that's going to motivate me in the next year. I'm going to implement some of those. And I've given myself a budget of $1,000 to do that. So you guys are going to be like a big brain that are going to help me figure out what am I going to do in honor of my grandmother. And then finally the Zombieland portion will essentially be me plus anyone else who wants to. We'll be giving birth together. We'll have some music going on, maybe a little dance. It'll be the stuff that maybe some of you are hopefully used to. Here's a diagram of reality, digestion, and Zombieland. Okay, so now my mom is going to give an overview of my grandmother's life journey, and then my sister has sent a video. She's in Germany, and then you know my gorgeously clothed brother is going to say a few words too. And Ma, you can start, and I'll do a slideshow while you're talking. If you can come up here.